definitely been some free agency stuff going on, a couple pickups here and there. But at a certain point, probably a month ago or at least a few weeks ago, a certain person made it known where they no longer want to play and where they do
Yep.
want to take their talents. And I guess the whole NFL world was kind of just holding their breath, waiting for it to become official. And yesterday, it finally became official.
It finally became official. Aaron Rodgers is a New York Jet. He took his talents to Manhattan.
I
I
mean,
mean,
technically, New Jersey.
that's true. That's true. That's true. That's a whole fact. The Meadowlands Stadium is in East Rutherford, New York. That's right. But you know, like the headlines say, now is it gonna be a New York miracle happening in New York? And that's what those are some of the things that we want to talk about today. We want to talk about what this trade means for the Jets, obviously what it means for Aaron Rodgers' career. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about what this means for Green Bay as well. But you know, what did you think when you first heard it? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, at this point, when he definitely won the Pat McAfee show, he pretty much let it known that he was going to be a New York Jet, and that's where his destination was going to be. And if it didn't make it any more obvious, picking up McCole Hardman, and Alan Lazard, basically kind of solidify like, yeah, we do think that the Jets are about to
I
make
think
this trade.
especially Allen Lazard. Like, come on, now.
Once they picked
Why would
him
they
up, it
get
was
him if
pretty
they weren't?
clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, nah, it's a blockbuster trade. Obviously, only involving one person, just a shit ton of picks. But you definitely got a team that was pretty mid, with a great defense, kind of had a lot of pieces. Just missed out on the playoff run last year, a couple key injuries, but now getting a MVP, past or former MVP quarterback, definitely we I mean, it's got to be a big thing for them, and
Yeah.
obviously we got to talk about how big it is.
Oh man, I it's huge. Like when I obviously when he was on the Pat McAfee show, I was thinking two teams. I was really going back and forth, thinking maybe he was gonna go to San Francisco and maybe do something out there, and they were gonna get rid of Trey Lance or something. But then the other one I was thinking about was the Jets. So right before he even announced, I was like, I knew it was gonna be one of those two. But when he announced the Jets, I was still surprised. Like, I mean, the Jets are an amazing franchise, amazing franchise, and they've had some incredible quarterbacks play for them before. Obviously, none other than Joe Namath. I mean, I can't shrug at that. You can't
Mm,
shrug at Joe Namath. You could shrug
I
at the
mean,
next
not
one. I'm gonna say Brett Favre played for the Jets too. Most recently, is like one of the legends of the game that played for the Jets. And of course, I mean, last year you guys had a Super Bowl winning quarterback and Joe Flacco start a game for you guys. I'm not even gonna name that though.
stop
That was a
it.
joke. That was a joke. But anyways, when I first heard it, I was definitely excited. I was excited what he was coming into. I think this is probably one of the most perfect positions that Aaron Rodgers is going to have in his career. And plus, the nightmare that he's been going through in Green Bay. Like, I think he's been wanting to be traded for the last 3 years. It's
Hmm.
been that long. And obviously, he put his foot in the sand this year and he told the team, he was like, I want to be traded to the Jets. And once he announced that on the Pat McAfee show, they had no other option but to trade him there or pay him like, shit ton of money, and they didn't want to do that. So it was pretty much like a hostage situation until Aaron took the leverage in his hands and he decided, all right, this is the team I want to go to, and that's where I want to finish my career. And I don't know, I think it's a huge move. I was just so excited when he first announced it that now that it's official, it's just it brought everything back from that.
I mean, yeah, like obviously, we got to talk about it last year, and not only did it seem like he didn't play his best, they didn't really have any pieces. They let go of Devontae. They leaned more into the run, and it just kind of seemed like the whole team was just not just falling apart from the get go. But the year before that, I mean, couple rough games, but MVP season.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, like, yeah, he's getting towards the tail end of his career. Some people might think the price he's asking for contract wise and just to get him out of Green Bay was too much. But at the end of the day, no injuries involved. We are talking about someone that's not even 2 years removed from an MVP season. And we watched him that MVP season have a horrible 3 to 4 game start. Most people, including myself, was like, yep, this is the decline. of Aaron Rodgers. I think this is
Yeah,
finally the
thought
season
it
we see
was.
him break. Yeah, and then he showed up with an MVP season. So, what type of what level of Aaron Rodgers do you think we get with this team?
Mm.
Do the pieces around him actually make him to the point where he's contending to where he's doing good, or do we get the 3,600 yards and 26 touchdown Aaron Rodgers that we got last year?
That's what I was just thinking. It's tough to say because of those last year numbers, because those were the lowest numbers of his career,
And
and that's
highest when it came to 12 picks. Pretty much the last few years before that, he got 4, 5, 4, and 2, and he got 12 last year.
and the year before he was the MVP, wasn't he? I think he was second in MVP voting that year
Yes,
before. Was he a yeah? Because he wasn't
actually,
multi.
he actually had a
Did
better
he win two
year.
in a row? Am I wrong to think that he won two in a row, or
Let
am
me
I
double
tripping?
check.
Because I mean, I know that Pat Mahomes like just won this
No,
year,
I
and then
think
before that, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers won two in a row.
he
Because
did. You're
that's
right.
yeah, like I was
Yep,
just
that's what
thinking,
it was. Yeah.
like my man was on a tear in the NFL for the last like 2.5 years, pretty much, and even before that first MVP season, if you look at those numbers too, I remember that he was still tearing it up. They were even the
That
first
first
first place
MVP
team.
season was better than the last MVP season he had.
Yeah.
Like
So I mean,
2020, he actually had better numbers.
yep. Yeah, and he's literally been killing it right now. Obviously, what the Jets are getting is a Hall of Fame type quarterback. It's somebody that you can look at, kind of like what Tom Brady just did. Left obviously one of the best franchises in NFL, Patriots, went down to Tampa Bay, and I mean, look what he did in his first year. And all it really takes is a team around you. And does the Jets not have one of the best teams around Aaron Rodgers? I mean, you just named before two of the wide receivers there. Obviously, they're gonna be, pickups. Like they were free agents that they just got, but they still got a bunch of other guys. Like Wilson was nice. Obviously, they got Bryce Hall, and both the running backs are amazing out there. Honestly, and that defense is something to talk about. I'll say it, the best defense in AFC. I'll say it, because I was thinking one or two, but I'm saying it, best defense in AFC, and they showed a lot of it last year, and they're just gonna be getting even better. They got a lot more money to spend right now in free agency. I mean, after they pay Aaron Rodgers, they're still gonna have about like 15 million to spend. So I think they'll be okay, especially after they move down in picks and they let go of that second round pick that they're not gonna have to pay for this year. So I do think that they're okay in that. But what do you think about the team around him? Do you think that they're a good supporting cast, and do you think that they're probably one of the best supporting casts he's had?
I mean, so last year they went 7-10, um, and a lot of people liked a lot of things that we saw. I mean, we spent months talking about how that was one of the best rookie draft classes we've seen in a
Yes,
while.
100%.
Literally, you just said Bryce Hall before his injury, he was a starting running back, pretty much a shoo-in for offensive rookie of the year. 7 games, he already has 681 total yards. He got injured, and then the next person who ended up being the offensive rookie of the year was their rookie wide receiver that they picked up. Just like you said, Garrett
Garrett
Wilson,
Wilson, yeah.
83 catches, 1,100 yards, 4 touchdowns, had a fantastic year. Um, Conklin, her tight end, had a decent year. More of a pass blocker or a run blocker. But he
Mm,
definitely still brought in 58 catches for 552 yards. So that's
yep.
literally almost 10 yards a catch. So definitely reliable through the middle. And that's just an offense. Obviously, like you said, defense can't start or end without talking about defensive rookie of the year. Like think about it. The Jets literally had the offensive rookie of the year and the defensive rookie of the year. And
Mm-hmm.
technically they had the best two offensive rookies in this class if Bryce Hall didn't get injured. But defensive rookie of the year, Sauce Gardner. I mean, my man was
Sauce
just
Gardner
straight terrorizing. 1 year into the league, already a Pro
doing his
Bowl,
thing.
already a first team, basically already considered top 3 best cornerback shutdown cornerbacks in the league. 20 passes defended with 2 interceptions. They were not thrown his way.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, there's a lot of things up in the air, but either way, whichever way you roll, giving up less than 2 touchdowns all year. Some
Yeah.
people got less than that, depending on how you look at the footage. If you think it was a man, if you think it was supposed to be a zone, if he actually got scored on,
True.
things like that.
But
But
definitely
either
the pass
way,
deflections too will help a lot on his favor. Like the amount of pass deflections he had, and the fact that they didn't really want to throw his way that much.
no, they didn't throw
Because
his way at all.
if they did, he would have got a lot more interceptions. And I'll say that because I remember I had him as the rookie of the year in the beginning of the year last year. I knew he was going to ball. I had him honestly as a second coming of Deion Sanders is what I think he is. Potential.
No, for sure. I mean, that was kind of the hype that he's had since college. I mean, I've never seen a quarterback get tracked like he got tracked on who's gonna be the first person to score on Sauce Gardner was basically a thing last year because that's how elite he is. And if they decided they didn't want to throw his way, they still had problems throwing to DJ Reed. He still had 12 passes defended, and one interception himself. Obviously, you still got defensive tackle Quentin Williams, one of the best in the games, 12 sacks last year, 71 pressures. CJ Mosley, second team All Pro last year with 158 tackles. Like you literally just had dogs all around, and like we just talked about, picking up McCole Hartman, Allen Lazard, and somehow not having to get rid of Corey Davis. On top of that, still keeping Corey Davis. I mean, this is honestly the best team set up for any elite quarterback or above average quarterback to take them to the next level. This was the front runner for the team that was going to get Lamar, just for the sole fact that all they need, 7-10 record, 29th in points scored. Couple wins away from the playoff. The only thing that was really wrong with his team was they had no quarterback. They had to switch between Zach Wilson, Mike White, and Joe Flacco throughout the whole year between injuries and just playing bad.
I was just gonna say, how you think Zach Wilson feels you talking about him like that in his offense? 29.
What you mean? 28
I know,
turnover ratio. My man is trash.
Was terrible last year. You're right.
So adding a elite quarterback, and even if we don't, I'll be honest. Give us last year's number on this Jets team with 3,600 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 12 picks. This team is making the
playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. Like, give me that, Aaron.
Good point.
And you're still taking this team to the playoffs, and they're contending in the playoffs. Give me MVP, close to MVP, Aaron.
Oh,
yeah, we got a problem.
We'll talk about that. But what about my man Mike White? He don't get no love out here. Where's he gonna fit in this?
He doesn't.
But I do. Honestly, I expect him to be the backup because he actually fits in your guys' system better. So
no, he is the backup. Zach Wilson is not about to be the backup.
Gone. Yeah, he's gonna be gone soon. Probably like during the draft, maybe for some picks because they do need some extra second round picks. Now that they made that trade, obviously, they traded the 12th pick for the 15th, and then they got a second round pick. The Green Bay Packers did, and also they get a next year's pick if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps this year, which. I think he probably will. I mean, most likely, as long as barring injury, he's going to be the starter.
They got a decent line too. We got a really good offensive lineman coming back. He definitely got injured last year, but they got a decent line.
They do, and they showed that last year. They actually protected their quarterbacks. It was the mistakes that, I'll be honest, like some of them were rookie wide receiver mistakes, but not all of them. Because I mean, Zach Wilson sometimes he would just throw terrible throws where you would just look at him and like, damn, that doesn't look like he should have been picked this early in the draft. But I do think that with the people that Aaron Rodgers has around him, I do believe that the Jets are a championship contender for sure.